There are moments in life when you can feel it, before anyone says a word. A look that lingers a second too long. A silence that speaks louder than conversation. An energy that pulls at you even when distance, rules, timing, or circumstances say no. Someone is crazy about you, not casually interested, not mildly curious, deeply, undeniably, soul deep drawn to you, and yet this relationship is forbidden. Now, when we hear the word forbidden, we often think it means wrong. But I've learned something powerful over the years. Not everything that is forbidden is meant to be denied forever. Sometimes it is simply meant to be understood. Because when a connection is blocked by society, by timing, by fear, by responsibility, it doesn't disappear. It transforms. And this situation right here means two very important things. The first thing it means is this: you have awakened something in someone that they cannot ignore. Your presence has stirred them. Your authenticity has unsettled them. Your light has touched a place in them they may have kept hidden for a very long time. And that kind of connection doesn't come from trying. It comes from being. You didn't force it. You didn't chase it. You didn't manipulate it. You simply showed up as who you are. And that was enough to shake someone's world. Now, the second thing this means is just as important and perhaps more challenging. Not every powerful connection is meant to be acted on immediately. Some relationships are not here to be consumed. They are here to be revealed. They reveal where you are growing. They reveal what you still desire. They reveal the courage it takes to honor your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. A forbidden connection asks a deeper question. Will you choose impulse or will you choose purpose? Will you choose fear or will you choose wisdom? Because real love, real connection does not rush. It doesn't beg. It doesn't destroy lives to prove itself. It waits. It matures. It teaches. And sometimes the highest form of love is not possession, it's recognition. So if you're feeling this right now, if you sense someone is holding you in their heart while the world says not yet, or not this way. Understand this. You are not imagining it. You are not foolish. And you are not powerless. You are standing at the intersection of desire and destiny. And what you choose next will define not just the relationship, but who you become. When someone is crazy about you and yet the relationship feels forbidden, the first truth you must understand is this: nothing about this connection is random. Life does not casually place powerful emotions in your path without intention. When attraction appears alongside restriction, it is often a signal, an awakening meant to shake you into awareness. This kind of connection does not arrive quietly. It enters your life with intensity, with confusion, and sometimes with fear. You may find yourself questioning your thoughts, your choices, and even your values. And that is exactly the point. A forbidden connection forces you to look inward. It asks you to confront parts of yourself that routine relationships never touch. You begin to notice how deeply you are seen, not for what you perform, but for who you truly are. There is a recognition that feels ancient, as if this person understands your pauses, your silences, your unspoken longings. That level of recognition can be unsettling because it exposes truths you may have kept hidden, even from yourself. Often, these connections appear when you are on the edge of growth, when you are evolving beyond an old identity, when you are ready to step into a higher version of yourself, but something within you is still holding back. The forbidden nature of the relationship mirrors that internal conflict. One part of you wants to move forward boldly, while another part clings to what feels safe and familiar. This is why the attraction feels overwhelming. It is not only about the other person. It is about what they awaken in you, confidence you forgot you had, dreams you postponed, emotional depths you never fully explored. Their presence activates dormant parts of your spirit, reminding you of who you are becoming, not who you used to be. And yet, restriction shows up. Timing is wrong. Circumstances are complicated. Responsibilities stand in the way. Society raises its eyebrows. These barriers are not punishments, they are invitations to pause, to reflect, to choose consciously rather than impulsively. A forbidden connection asks you to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, to feel desire without immediately acting on it, to recognize attraction without letting it control you. This restraint is not weakness. It is power. It is emotional maturity developing in real time. There is also a sacred lesson here about self-worth. When someone desires you deeply, yet cannot fully claim you, you are reminded that your value does not come from being chosen publicly or possessed openly. Your worth exists independently of anyone's ability to act on their feelings for you. You are valuable simply because you exist, because you are present, because you are real. This awakening can be painful. It can leave you wondering, what if, more often than you would like. But it can also be transformative. It teaches you patience. It teaches you discernment. It teaches you that not every strong emotion demands immediate resolution. Sometimes, the purpose of a forbidden connection is not union, but elevation. It lifts you into deeper self-awareness. It challenges you to refine your boundaries. It strengthens your ability to hold complexity without losing yourself. So before you label this experience as a mistake or a temptation, consider another possibility. What if this connection arrived to wake you up, to show you what kind of love, respect, and depth you are truly capable of experiencing? What if it is preparing you, not for this person, but for the life and relationships that match the person you are becoming? A forbidden connection is not a curse. It is a mirror. And what it reflects back to you may be the most important truth you have ever seen. When a relationship is forbidden, the second truth reveals itself quietly, but firmly. Not all desire is meant to be acted upon immediately. And this is one of the most difficult lessons the heart will ever be asked to learn. Because when someone is crazy about you, and you feel it too, the instinct is to move closer, to blur lines, to justify choices with emotion. But restraint in this moment becomes a profound measure of your emotional power and self-respect. Desire is energy. It is creative, motivating, and alive. But unchecked desire can also become destructive. A forbidden connection asks you to hold that energy without letting it burn everything around you. It challenges you to feel deeply without behaving recklessly. And that is not suppression. It is mastery. Emotional maturity is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to feel fully and still choose wisely. When you resist the urge to act impulsively, you are not denying yourself happiness. You are honoring your values. You are saying, I will not betray my integrity for temporary relief. That choice builds a quiet strength inside you. Strength that no one can take away. This is where self-respect is forged. When you choose not to cross lines that would damage others, damage your future, or damage your sense of self, you send a powerful message to your own spirit. You affirm that you are worthy of love that does not require secrecy, guilt, or emotional compromise. You remind yourself that real connection does not demand self-betrayal. At the same time, this restraint can feel painful. There may be moments when the silence feels heavier than any argument. Moments when distance feels unbearable. Moments when you question whether doing the right thing is worth the emotional cost. These moments are tests, not punishments. They test whether you trust your inner compass more than your cravings. A forbidden relationship often reveals unresolved emotional patterns. Perhaps you have a history of choosing intensity over stability, or mistaking longing for love, or believing that suffering makes connection more meaningful. This experience asks you to break that pattern. It invites you to choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion. There is also a deeper truth at work. What is truly meant for you will not require you to abandon your principles to obtain it. If a connection demands secrecy that erodes your self-worth, it is asking for too much. Love should expand you, not diminish you. It should feel aligned, not fragmented. By choosing restraint, you also create space for honesty. Honesty with yourself. Honesty about what you need, what you deserve, and what you are no longer willing to accept. You learn that wanting someone is not the same as needing them. And needing yourself, your values, your peace, your future, comes first. This period of almost can be sacred if you let it be. It teaches you patience. It teaches you discernment. It teaches you that love is not proven by how much you sacrifice, but by how much you honor yourself while feeling deeply. And here is the quiet reward. When you master desire instead of letting it master you, you grow into someone who can handle real love when it arrives. Love that is open. Love that is honest. Love that does not ask you to hide. So if you are standing in the tension between what you feel and what you know is right, understand this: your restraint is not weakness. It is wisdom, it is strength, and it is preparing you for a connection that meets you in the light, not in the shadows. There comes a moment in every powerful, forbidden connection when the heart and the conscience begin a quiet conversation. Not a loud argument, not a dramatic confrontation, but a steady inner dialogue that asks one essential question: who do you want to be after this feeling passes? Because feelings, no matter how intense, are temporary. But the choices you make in their presence shape your future. A forbidden relationship does something very revealing. It shows you where your boundaries truly live. Not the boundaries you speak about, not the ones you hope to have, but the ones you are actually willing to honor when desire, attention, and emotional intensity are placed directly in front of you. And this is where self-mastery begins. Boundaries are not walls built to keep love out. They are structures built to protect your integrity. When someone is crazy about you and you feel that pull to, boundaries can feel like the enemy. They can feel restrictive, unfair, even cruel. But in truth, boundaries are what allow love to exist without destroying the lives involved. This kind of connection tests your ability to pause, to step back and ask, what am I responsible for here? Not just emotionally, but morally, spiritually, and relationally. It forces you to acknowledge the ripple effects of your choices. Every decision you make sends waves outward, to families, to commitments, to futures not yet fully visible. Self-mastery is revealed in how you manage what you feel when no one is watching. It is easy to be principled when temptation is absent. It is much harder when attraction is strong, when validation feels intoxicating, when someone looks at you as if you are the answer to something missing in their life. That gaze can be powerful and dangerous if you forget who you are. A forbidden relationship often invites you to become the exception, the secret, the hidden place where someone else escapes from their reality. But being someone's escape is not the same as being their destination. And self-mastery means refusing roles that diminish your worth, even when they come wrapped in desire. Boundaries teach you to say no without self-hatred. They allow you to honor your feelings without acting on every impulse. This is not repression. This is conscious choice. It is the difference between being driven by emotion and being guided by wisdom. There is also a deeper lesson here about self-trust. When you hold a boundary under pressure, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted with your own heart. You stop abandoning yourself in moments of intensity. You stop negotiating your values for validation. And that builds an unshakable inner foundation. This experience may also reveal how often you have overextended emotionally in the past, how often you have taken responsibility for other people's feelings, how often you have believed it was your job to make things work, no matter the cost. A forbidden relationship brings these patterns to the surface so they can finally be seen and changed. Choosing boundaries may create distance. It may create disappointment. It may even create loss. But it also creates clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you stand for, and what kind of love you are no longer willing to accept. And here is the quiet transformation. When you master yourself in moments of temptation, you become magnetic in a different way. Not because you are unavailable, but because you are grounded. People feel your self-respect. They sense your clarity. They recognize that you are not easily swayed, and that makes your presence powerful. So if love feels restricted right now, do not rush to break the rules just to relieve the tension. Pause. Listen. This moment is shaping you. Boundaries are not blocking love. They are refining it. And self-mastery, once learned, will serve you in every relationship that follows. One of the hardest truths to accept about a forbidden relationship is this: intensity does not guarantee permanence. Just because a connection feels deep, magnetic, and emotionally consuming does not mean it is meant to last forever. Some connections enter your life not to stay, but to change you. And recognizing this requires emotional courage. When someone is crazy about you and the relationship cannot openly exist, the temptation is not just emotional. It is psychological. The secrecy can feel intoxicating. The intensity can feel special, even meaningful. The sense of us against the world can create an illusion of destiny. But illusions are powerful precisely because they feel real. This is where discernment becomes necessary. A forbidden relationship places you at a crossroads between temporary pleasure and long-term truth. Temporary pleasure whispers, you just feel this now, this moment. You deserve it. Long-term truth asks, at what cost? And that question deserves an honest answer. Long-term truth is not concerned with instant gratification. It is concerned with alignment. Alignment between your actions and your values. Alignment between who you say you are and how you live when no one is watching. This is where integrity is either strengthened or quietly eroded. Many people confuse intensity with depth, but depth does not demand chaos to prove its worth. Real depth is calm, grounded, and expansive. It does not leave you anxious, fragmented, or hiding parts of yourself. A forbidden connection challenges you to recognize this difference. It asks you to look beyond how strong the feelings and examine how healthy it truly is. This experience also forces you to confront your relationship with truth. Are you willing to be honest with yourself and with others, even when honesty is uncomfortable? Or are you tempted to rationalize choices that contradict your inner knowing? The answers to these questions shape your emotional character. Sometimes choosing long-term truth means walking away from something that feels extraordinary in the moment. That is not failure. That is courage. It takes bravery to say, this feels good, but it is not right for who I am becoming. That decision may age, but it also clears the path for something better aligned with your future. There is grief in this choice. You may mourn what could have been. You may replay conversations, imagine alternate timelines, and wonder if you made the right decision. But grief does not mean regret. It means you honored something real while choosing something higher. A forbidden relationship often reveals how much you value your peace. Peace is not the absence of desire. It is the presence of self-trust. When you choose long-term truth, you strengthen your trust in yourself. You prove that you can withstand emotional storms without abandoning your core. And here is the quiet reward. When you consistently choose truth over temporary pleasure, your life begins to align in unexpected ways. Opportunities open. Relationships feel cleaner and more honest. Your sense of self becomes grounded rather than scattered. This is not about denying love. It is about defining it correctly. Love that requires you to live in secrecy, guilt, or constant inner conflict is asking you to sacrifice too much. Long-term truth asks for patience, clarity, and courage, but it gives back peace, dignity, and self-respect. So if you are standing at this crossroads, understand this: the choice you make now will echo far beyond this moment. Temporary pleasure fades. Long-term truth endures. And the version of you that chooses truth will always be stronger than the version that chose convenience. When someone is crazy about you and yet the relationship cannot fully exist, it is natural to cling to hope. Hope that circumstances will change. Hope that timing will align. Hope that love will somehow conquer all obstacles. Hope itself is not wrong, but attachment to a specific outcome can quietly keep you stuck. This kind of connection often serves as a catalyst. It awakens dormant parts of you. It reminds you of your capacity to feel deeply. It shows you what kind of emotional intimacy you crave. And then sometimes it steps aside, not as a punishment, but as a completion. Transformation rarely arrives gently. It often comes disguised as longing, loss, or unanswered questions. A forbidden relationship can leave you altered, more aware, more discerning, more awake to your emotional needs. It may break open illusions you once held about love, sacrifice, and destiny. There is grief in realizing that someone who touched your soul may not walk beside you through life. That grief deserves respect. It deserves space. But grief does not mean the connection was a mistake. It means it mattered. And meaning does not require permanence to be valid. Some people enter your life to show you what is possible, not to be the one who provides it. They reflect your depth back to you. They mirror your emotional intelligence. They awaken standards you may have settled on before. And once that lesson is learned, holding on can prevent the next chapter from beginning. This is where surrender becomes powerful. Surrender is not giving up. It is letting go of the illusion that you can control outcomes through force or longing. It is trusting that what leaves creates space for something more aligned to arrive. A forbidden connection also teaches you about timing. Two good people can meet at the wrong moment. Love is not just about chemistry. It is about readiness, availability, and alignment. Without those elements, even the strongest attraction struggles to grow in healthy ways. By releasing what cannot stay, you reclaim your energy. You stop living in emotional limbo. You stop waiting for someone else's life to rearrange itself around you. You return to yourself, to your goals, your peace, to your forward movement. And something remarkable happens when you do. You become clearer, stronger, more grounded. You no longer seek intensity, you seek truth. You no longer chase what is unavailable, you attract what is aligned. The transformation this connection offers is subtle but lasting. You learn that love should not require suffering to feel meaningful. You learn that being chosen openly matters. You learn that your heart deserves safety, not secrecy. So if this connection is fading, changing, or remaining forever unresolved, trust that it has already done its work. It has expanded you. It has refined you. It has prepared you for a love that does not live in the shadows. Not every powerful connection is meant to stay. Some are meant to awaken you, shape you, and then release you, stronger, wiser, and ready for what comes next. If someone is crazy about you and the relationship feels forbidden, understand this above all else. This experience was never meant to confuse you. It was meant to clarify you. Every emotion you felt, every pause you honored, every boundary you held, and every truth you chose has been shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This connection came to show you two powerful truths. First, that your presence carries weight. You awaken depth in others simply by being who you are. And second, that real love does not ask you to abandon your integrity, your peace, or your future in order to feel chosen. Love that is meant for you meets you in the open, not in secrecy. You were asked to choose self, respect over impulse, truth over fantasy, growth over attachment. Those choices were not easy, but they were necessary. Because the relationships that last are not built on longing alone. They are built on alignment, timing, and mutual readiness. If this connection stays, it will return transformed, clean, honest, and grounded. And if it leaves, it will leave behind clarity instead of regret. Either way, you do not lose, you evolve. So release the guilt, release the what if, and release the need for answers that time alone can give. Trust that what touched your heart also strengthened your spirit. You are not behind, you are not lacking, you are becoming. And what is meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to receive it.